As the seas sort of calm down at the conclusion of the battle against that rogue wave, the clouds kind of part and reveal the last of the sun of the day's sun. The ship is damaged, but nothing too severe. Just many snapped lines and some torn rigging, and still in octopus form. Robert sort of pops his head over the top of the waves and says in Aquan, he's like, "There are dangerous signs on the water, and I feel like I must investigate them. But you'll see me again soon." And he sort of kind of disappears without waiting for an answer under the waves.
Okay. Wish I could do that.
Well, darn, I wanted to ask him for some of his ink.
Yeah, you don't go asking a man for his ink. That's a private thing. That's a private matter. Between a man and his witch doctor.
I could lend you some white out. Yeah, because it's like, never mind.
You've been spending too much time with Elder Wilcox, I think.
He is a dirty bastard.
I don't even know what that guy wanted. Roberos, what's his name? Yeah, I guess he just kind of wanted to see what it's like to be a hero. He sure did come in handy there. I don't know if we would have been able to take on that killer wave without his expertise under the sea.
Who would have known he could even do something like that? And then he just turned into a giant octopus.
How do you know he wasn't an octopus all the time? He just turned into a man to hang out with us.
And Jackabo's expression changes. He's wide-eyed, like, whoa.
As you kind of all are talking together, Shark kind of walks up behind you. "Captain,
Yes.
we've got the crew reassembling the rigging.
Well done. Good.
We believe we'll be underway within a few minutes, sir."
All right. Do we take any casualties in the crew?
"No, sir. All hands are reported."
Ah, successful voyage so far.
"Aye, sir. So far. We did lose some supplies in the wash."
Any rum?
"Aye, we did lose some rum, sir."
Whoa. Shark, we gotta set our priorities here. Rum first, food second.
Is it rum food?
Yeah, of course it is.
"Well, sir, we did lose a greater supply of food than we did of rum, sir. About two of our 10 barrels of rum have gone overboard, but our salted goods have all seemed to washed away with the sea, and as has the fresh catch."
Do you know any ports locally that we maybe can go and refit the ship?
"Aye, sir, we could sail back a day's sail back to port and resupply."
No, we don't go back. We don't go back. We continue the journey. Charlie Mike.
"Well, sir, that's what I wanted to mention to you. This here is Cutti. So she's 4 feet 9 inches tall.
Oh.
She's got sort of a pale but sort of blue skin and close cropped hair. Her hair is actually white.
Okay.
If you can harvest
Cutti.
anything from beneath the waves, sir, she can prepare it. She's the ship's cook."
Well, now you're talking, Shark. You know I can fish with the best of them. I will leave this ship to you, Shark, as I'll get us a feast for tonight. Don't worry.
Is the cooking any better than Elder Green's?
No.
I'm sure it is.
So, Cutti,
"I shouldn't know, sir, but I have been a cook for my family's tribe for many big feasts and dinners, and I have cooked aboard this ship for many seasons.
how long you been at sea?
I have sailed with this ship for 5 seasons. Not with this crew for 5 seasons."
Yeah. Oh, well, it's always nervous when you meet the captain. It's fine. Don't worry. I'm just like any of y'all, except for I'm a man and you're a woman.
"Aye, sir. I am also the surgeon."
Oh. You do any of those things that Elder Green does? You know, fickle your fingers around and make things appear?
"I can harvest the seas to create potions of healing and potions of breathing water. I have partnered with Shark the Quartermaster to help your supply. But we must harvest the oceans for me to restock my cabinets."
Well, I'll get right on it. What do you need? You just let me know right now.
"Aye, Captain. Any fresh catch of a fatty fish, and any coral and plants harvested from the ocean as we sail along, I can turn into potions for you.
Well, boys, I'm gonna go ahead and get my tackle gear, and I'm gonna try to harvest the water. You feel free to move about the ship. Shark's got the wheel.
I'll go give the boys a hand trying to get this stuff all back together. And I'll try to assist the guys with any damage that may have occurred to the rigging and all that good jazz.
So your ship took 60 points of damage
Okay.
in the last battle. So you all can keep track of these stats, each individually, or refer up kind of to the channel as you need them. I can put the rules from the Dungeon Master Guide in for like the ballista as we need them. Or we could probably even look them up with the bot if somebody wants to test that.
I am putting it in my character sheet. I will take care of the ship's HP. So we lost 60 hit points.
So you can use your repair skill in order to
Yes. Okay.
add some of those hit points back, and then Jackabo,
so.
and then Gilfin, you can use your skill to harvest if you want to there. And then as first officer, Elder Green, you're actually responsible for the crew's morale.
Oh!
They have a morale score, and that affects kind of like their ability to act when they do have to use stuff like navigate water hazards or fire the ballista or put out a fire, so to speak, if the ship is on fire, or fight off an infestation, or the overall health from maybe having to ration is all affected into their morale. So their morale score is at 14 right now, but they just had a battle. So I'm going to roll a d4 and subtract whatever that number is to the morale score, and you'll have a chance to make a charisma check. And you can use any kind of skill that you might have a bonus in order to move that morale score back up by a d4 as well.
Okay, and what's the max for morale?
20. And you can make one such check per day.
Okay, it was at 14, and the D4 resulted in it becoming what?
So let's see. So their morale from the battle has gone down 3 points. So it went down to an 11.
Okay.
And you have a difficulty class 15. You can make any charisma-based check against that difficulty. And if you beat it, I'll roll a d4 to increase the morale by that many points.
All right,
and then
then
you can act out kind of how you do that, too, if you want to.
Okay, well then, Elder Green is going to, once the battle is all over and everything's settled in, he's going to get everybody to gather around, and he's going to tell the story of how Jackabo, Gilfin, and I met. And he is going to reenact, basically, the first quest that the party went through. And he is going to use his new powers to do so. So he's going to use his Mask of Many Faces, I believe it's called, feat. So I can use Disguise Self at will. So he's going to sit there and just disguise himself as Gilfin and Jackabo and Elder Green and switch himself between all the different roles. And he's going to use his new feat, which is Actor, in which he can gain advantage on performance checks to impersonate somebody else.
Cool.
So while he's impersonating Gilfin and Jackabo, it is a flawless impersonation, of course.
So the sun has kind of gone down, and it's kind of in that hour of twilight, that magic hour in filmmaking. And the torches, the crew, as they're kind of finishing up their repairs, and we'll get to that too, Jackabo, they've lit torches around sort of the rails and the deck of the boat so that everybody can kind of see to keep at their work. And as you begin your performance, Elder Green, that torchlight sort of takes on a greenish flaming tint.
Green flame!
Green flame! But the light becomes both brighter, and so that but it also enhances the shadows. So as you kind of morph through those shapes, you really become larger than life as you take on the personas of the hardships that you've endured, but also the light on your characters is not sort of bright. It's just pale. It seems kind of lifeless, although all the features of your characters are exposed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of hauntingly abstract in that way. But a lot of the crew is just enraptured. So go ahead and check there and add your bonus to your advantage check.
Okay. It's going to be a 21.
All right, so
total.
So yeah, the crew is really lost in your story, and they gain 4 points of morale, so they're at a 15 now.
I want to hear his impression of Gilfin and Jackabo.
Well, so mechanically it's flawless because the feat makes it every single impersonation that he does is absolutely flawless if he's heard somebody do it for over a minute. But Gilfin is probably like well, I've been all over the world and I've seen everything. And then Jackabo is like, let's throw another strip on the Barbie. This is a great house and I love the old ones. Like that.
Well done. Of course, Gilfin's like, who's he pretending to be? I don't get it. He just gets back to fishing.
I don't sound anything like that. I don't even have that treacherous accent.
I don't even sound anything like that, mate.
Jackabo, you notice that as
Flawless.
the crew is sort of talking in pockets about what they've just witnessed, they're sort of looking at you with a renewed awe. So you can use the inspiration of you can add a D6 to your roll for repairs.
Okay.
In order to see if you succeed on your roll, and or you can add that D6 to any like bonus, or as a bonus to any kind of like hit points in some kind of way. So we can figure that out too.
Okay. Let me read this shipwrights thing to you real quick.
Okay.
Because I had to look it up. I don't have that book here, so I had to look it up on my character sheet. What I have written here is when you provided you have carpenter's tools, perform the repairs on a water vehicle. When you use this ability to restore a number of hit points to the hull, the vehicle equals 5 times your proficiency modifier, which is just 10.
Okay.
And I cannot do that again until we go to port.
Okay.
So what I just add the D6 to that, or
Yeah. So you can do so. So basically, you just get to do it, right? You don't have to roll any kind of check.
It's just because it's not really a huge repair. It's just it's almost like I think that if I was to save it to where like, oh man, we're sinking, I could patch the hole and give us like 10 HP and try and sail away or something. But let's just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
That only was just an extra 1 point. So 251 is what our current HP is.
All right, that sounds good.
And meanwhile, Gilfin's at the front of the boat fishing. I get to roll with advantage. I rolled a 15 and a 5. If you want me to add it to anything.
Oh, you rolled a 15 and a 5?
Yeah, I get advantage, so we'll go with 15.
Okay, so we'll take your 15 score, and then how does that translate into what you catch?
I would think if you want to, I would ask the DM, do you want to play that with survival or anything?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you have a skill that you could use instead,
so I'll take it up to 18 then.
Okay.
So, I would say he can get enough. Well, I mean, it's up to you. I would say he collect enough food to feed 10 people. So he came across some yellowtails and some trout, maybe.
Okay, so you've got enough food to feed 10 people, and we'll say there's enough supplies left that you characters yourselves are taken care of.
Yeah, I can cast Goodberry, which will keep me alive, and probably several other people too.
I'm not going to eat a garnish. We're going to eat a real meat.
All right, I like that.
Here, the crew's getting angry already.
So, Gilfin, you have to decide if you want to use that food that you've harvested, or how you want to use that food that you've harvested. You can give half of that food to Cutti, and she can use it to make any one of those potions I mentioned earlier.
All right, so he grabs his haul. He kind of slings it over his shoulder, and a sound of wet leather and shit. He comes down to wherever she is, if she's down in the bowels of the ship, Look at
Yeah,
this.
she's
here.
one deck. I believe the kitchen. Where's the kitchen according to the floor plan? Do you guys have that decided? Do you want to change that or anything like that? I believe it's on the top deck, or I'm sorry, on deck 1.
Let me look and see where.
No, it's up. So yeah,
It's like area 6. Yeah, that's area 6 is the kitchen.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
so that's the upper
Yep,
deck.
that's-
Okay.
Yep. So that's where you can find Cutti.
All right.
Hey, Cuddy, look at here. I got some yellowtails, some trout. There might even be a cod in there. Who knows? So,
Yes. I can use these supplies to make oil of slipperiness, or I could make a healing potion for you, or a potion of underwater breathing.
do we have enough food for the boys aboard the ship? We don't want anybody to cause a mutiny.
The dwarven marines have kept a supply of each of these potions. There are 10 of each potion on board under lock and key, and they were not ravaged by the storm. I can make additional potions from your catch, or you can continue with the stock that you have.
Cuddy, I'm the kind of captain who likes to let people perform their tasks to the level that they feel is necessary. I'm going to leave it to you to decide if you feel we need the oil or slipperiness, but I want to make sure our crew is fed and properly taken care of, too.
I believe you should feed your crew, Captain.
Then we've decided. We take care of the crew first, and we'll fish again tomorrow. We'll set you up with whatever you need.
All right, so
Jackabo
you
will-
can if you ration if you have to ration the food for 3 consecutive days at sea, then I'll roll a d4 to lower the morale.
Well, I mean, if
I
Cuddy,
will.
Cuddy, do we have enough
I will
food
do my
for
part
now?
too. I want to do my part. I can cast that good berry, and that can produce 10 berries, which will one of them I guess feeds one. It's like one of these berries is enough to fill a belly of a full-grown man.
Okay.
In the voice of Legolas.
So that would be enough to feed the whole crew, and then you would not have to worry about that check if it continued. But you would have to harvest again and cast good berry again tomorrow to feed your crew.
right. So I'll
Let's-
do that right now.
Let's keep them fed, Jackabo. Cuddy, let's keep them happy. Let's at least
I
get
mean,
to our
it's-
next port. We can always resupply then.
It's not as good as a nice plate of fish and chips, but at least it keeps everybody's bellies from grumbling.
So you can cast good berry how many times today?
I have 3 spell slots. I could do it up to 3 times. I have a components pouch to be able to do it. So.
And then how long do the good berries last? 24 hours?
24 hours if we don't eat them.
If you don't eat them. Okay. So you could cast good berry 3 times today
Good.
and feed the whole crew, and then you could donate the whole catch to making potions.
You want to do that? I'll give us a day of. They probably don't want to eat good berries every day. They're going to get sick of it. Probably bring their morale down.
Jackabo.
But
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to
Yeah,
be a
sure.
do you want to be a vegetarian? Do you? Is that what Elder Green's teaching you? To eat fruit and vegetables? Be healthy?
Certainly
No.
not.
Where did he
Why,
come
mate?
from? Holy shit! What are you sneaking around here like that for?
Well, listen, I'm a survivalist. I'll eat whatever I have to stay alive, especially on the ocean.
Have you ever met a dwarf?
Yeah, I slept with one once.
Well, they like red meat.
I know.
As
She
much
had it all in her beard.
As much as I would like to feed them berries, I think we should cut it. Right now we don't need those medical or potion supplies as much as we need to keep the crew happy until we get to port.
Aye, sir, you're the captain.
All right, so I'll cast it one time and then use the rest. Maybe you can mix those good berries in with the fish. Make a nice ceviche.
Don't ruin the fish, Cuddy.
Well, sir, there's more to pay attention to. Has just come to my attention, this bird has alighted upon the top of the mast.
Is that a good sign or a bad sign?
Could be a message, sir.
That will tell
Go on
us
a bit.
exactly what sign it is, okay?
Jacabo's a fairly good climber. I'll go up there and see what it is.
And Jackabo, yeah, you notice it's sort of an unusual parrot. It's kind of got metallic, glinting wings, but it's also, despite the way it's pictured here, it's actually sort of it's really sickly looking and rather diseased, and a lot of its feathers have been molted.
I'll approach it. I'll maybe pull out a little half of a cracker. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got for us?
Yeah, it sort of hops towards you, and you notice that there is a scroll fastened to its leg.
Here you go. I'll give him a little bit of the cracker to try and reach out for the message.
Yeah, it sort of starts nibbling at it, and then you untie the message, and you notice that it's actually sealed with wax in a familiar pattern. It's the seal of Anders Solmore, shipping company.
Oh, okay. That's not my. That's who sent us here, right?
That's your benefactor.
That's okay. Yeah. So I will take my little knife out and pop that seal and read it.
All right, yeah. So you notice that it's a note written in the handwriting of Scarin, and it's apparent. It's signed by Scarin at the bottom of the note.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically the note says it's addressed to you, Jackabo, specifically.
Okay.
And it says there's more to the story that we could say before you sailed off.
Oh, okay.
This is the Solmore Company is concerned that if we do not find this apple, that our enemies will. The council had been slow in moving, and so we had hired additional help in order to obtain the apple, but they did not return at the designated time. If you are able to locate them on your journey, please return them to me in any form you find them, with all of their possessions.
Oh, okay. So if I find dead people, I need to bring them back. All right.
And then it's signed by Scarin.
Okay.
And the bird sort of munches on its back there, and then hops down and kind of glides to the railing on the poop deck.
Okay.
And kind of remains there.
Well, I'll climb back down. Now that's not probably something. Is that something that needs to be secret? Not really. I don't think that's anything detrimental to the rest of my friends.
That's called You Decide, Chad.
Yeah.
All right, take it out.
That's Scarin, by the way.
Have we bumped into Scarin?
I can't right-click on it.
Yeah, he bumped into Scarin a couple of times. And he was at the last council meeting. He was the fourth member before you set sail.
He didn't say too much at the last council meeting.
He did not.
Yeah, he's quiet.
He seems to be the person that you deal with more directly than Anders Solmore. He's sort of his right-hand man.
Because I put up the picture. That's Silmore. That's who you called out as Silmore, the kid, right?
Yes. Yep. He owns the company he inherited from his parents. He's a big shipping magnate in Saltmarsh, and then his butler. So he's kind of a young Bruce Wayne, and then his Alfred is this guy Scarin.
Yeah.
I'll climb back down, and looks like it was a message, Beard.
What did it say?
It was actually from my contact back at home. Says to keep an eye open for some other agents that they might have sent out earlier, but who knows? They might be dead.
They want us to keep an eye open. Why would they send somebody else out if they sent us out?
Captain, you know as well as I do, sailors get nervous when they find out that someone who's might already perished on a journey such as ours. We got to keep morale. You know what I mean?
And as you say that, Cutti sort of emerges from the kitchen, holding a stew pot and ladling out bowls to the sailors as they kind of finish tying up the last bit of the rigging and driving the last bit of nails into the Sea Ghost as it finishes up the repairs that they can make under Jackabo's direction. And she says, well, of course, the crew's morale is going to be affected. We are sailing to the Crystal Cove, did you not say?
That's right.
Yes, there are legends that the merfolk lived there once long ago, and were killed and still haunt the ruins.
Jackabo gets along fine with the merfolk. We should be no problem.
Oh yeah, they're a splendid folk.
Ah, is that true, Jackabo? Well, yes, these merfolk were slaves of an aboleth.
No wonder they're so lovely and friendly.
They were not friendly. They were changed after being slaves for generations. Devil creature. They were able to kill it, but now it said that they haunt the treasures that are there, and that is why they remain.
Cutti, Jackabo's working on his sarcasm. He's not quite there yet. He's going to get there one day with hard work. He's trying to be sarcastic. The merfolk are nothing but asses to him. And they ain't got asses.
Is that true, Jackabo?
Yeah, they were real assholes, and I winked sarcastically at Gilfin.
There, see?
Did I do it?
He's getting it.
Did I do it right?
Oh, yeah, real good. Me, they hate me because I was going to marry their queen, but I backed out. I'm allergic to shellfish.
Well, if we come upon any of these merfolk in search of this crystal cave, then perhaps we would do well to flee.
All you got to do is tell them they're beautiful, and they get really pissed off and probably walk away.
Shark, what do you
swim away?
What do you think that? Better yet, Elder Green, you're in charge of morale. If we flee from these merfolk, how will that affect the morale?
Well, I'm not really familiar with sailors. I don't really have an in with them. But I'm not quite sure. Definitely killing innocents seems to bring some of these people down. They were all, "Oh, you killed the people who used to sail on this boat." And I'm all, I mean, whatever.
Liberate it, the boat.
Yes, you did tell an interesting tale of liberation. It is true. It is similar to the way that the merfolk liberated themselves from that aboleth fiend who was feeding on their minds.
Do any of us know anything about aboleths?
You tell me. Let's see.
I'm a monster hunter. I can make a nature check to see if I know anything.
Okay.
Let me bring up my stats real quick.
And then, Gilfin, what would you know about aboleths?
Well, I went ahead and did like a history check.
Okay.
If that's cool. I rolled a 7 plus 2, so it's a 9. I mean, he probably could make some shit up if you'd like.
So let's say that you know that at the very least, there's some. You've heard Cutty's tale before that there were merfolk slaves here, and that the treasure of the Crystal Cove that you're interested in is somehow related to that aboleth in the way that it operated.
I rolled a 21 on a nature check to see if I can recall anything about aboleths.
Yeah, you would at least know that they were subservient to it, and that anything that they produced as a society was in honor of it, and so that the treasure was the treasure of the aboleth and not necessarily of the merfolk.
Okay.
I know when I was a young man and I was going to marry the mermaid princess, there was a lot of aboleth talk back then, and I just couldn't deal with it. I wasn't mature enough.
I once read a great story about a barbarian and his friends who fought an aboleth in a sewer. It was a scary story. Totally bullshit. That could never happen. Everyone would totally die if they fought an aboleth in a sewer. I mean, come on. But it was a fun story to tell at night.
So, Jackabo, you would know that the aboleth uses some sort of power of the mind to invoke magical effects on its prey, but that it's not quite magic. Let's put it that way. And you also know that they're dangerous, and that they really only seem to enslave anything that's they would deem lesser than themselves.
Okay. Yeah, they don't much care for the common folk. They think highly of themselves, almost like an evil god or something from the cosmos.
They're like little squids. They almost look like baby Cthulhus. What do you know about them, Elder Green? They look like little baby Cthulhus.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask. So Elder Green is kind of a weird guy sometimes.
Kinda?
He speaks deep speak, Aquan, and Draconic, if that's relevant. I don't know if it speaks Aquan or anything.
Yeah,
like
what's
that.
your how about do you have like a religion skill or anything like that?
I have yeah, I'm proficient in religion, arcana, investigation. Those are my intelligence proficiencies.
Make a religion check.
Okay.
When you make up your own religion, of course you're going to be,
Well, I rolled an 18. It'll equal out to 21.
What you know about the aboleth is that whatever fuels its magical abilities, you seem to believe that your studies of metaphysics, that the aboleth can also lend power to other creatures in a similar fashion in which you receive your power from the great old ones.
So basically, like a symbiosis, like a host leech kind of situation.
Or that through worship or bargaining that it can lend magical abilities to its slaves.
And do I also know that it only enslaves or attacks those it finds weak?
You know that it finds everything other than aboleths weak.
Okay.
They consider themselves apex creatures.
They're even more elitist than the merfolk.
And as you guys are sort of discussing it, the crew kind of goes about their tasks. Some of them retire, and just the skeleton crew is left to sail into the night.
I like it at night. It's nice and quiet.
We'll stay up late on the deck, carving little carving out of wood. He's going to work on a carving in the morning. I'll decide what it is.
The evening passes uneventful. You get a favorable wind blowing down from the north, kind of speed you on your way. The depths of the water never get that deep, so that as you kind of look over the rail into the calm chop, you notice that you can see still to the bottom of the sea floor, and that there still hasn't been many sea life or sea birds or ocean noises other than kind of the spray and the lap of the waves against the ship. You still don't see much in the way of fish to catch, although you did catch that harvest enough. You can see why a lot of the fishing ships have been coming back empty. And you notice that even that the seaweed is kind of absent from the seafloor in the way that you would expect it, as you can see to the bottom.
Is Roberos still in view, or has he left the ship?
Roberos, we can say that he is tagging along, but out of sight. But the bird is also still seems to be lingering around. It kind of flies to the yard arm and sometimes perches itself on top of the ship's wheel. What is your ability to interact with animal?
Well, I could do an animal handling check, but I just didn't know if it was like a messenger bird that couldn't fly that far over water. I can make an animal handling check.
You can make an animal handling check. You would know that this is a messenger bird. And then, if you make the requisite score, we'll say it's a DC 17, then you can communicate a destination to it well enough in order to send a message.
That's my first natural 20 of the night. That makes it a 22.
Okay. So, you can fasten a message to it, and you can communicate a destination.
I was going to say, I'm going to write the Saren back and say, 2 right, I'm on it, boss.
All right, so you would describe what you know about where Anders Solmore can be found, and then sort of the bird kind of takes off. It kind of wobble flies away, but it kind of flies up out of sight.
I'm going to attach a little extra cracker to his foot, so he can have something to munch on the way.
All right.
And I want to visit the cook, Cutti.
Okay.
I want to go to Cutty's little office there, and I want to knock, knock.
You may enter. She seems to be working at a station with beakers and potions and stuff like that.
Right. I just wanted to say that last night's fish chowder was some of the best I've ever had on a ship before. I made you this little present, and I give her a little carving of herself made of wood.
And she sort of she kind of puts it on the shelf above her workspace there, and she goes, "It is kind of you, thank you." And she continues working.
2 right, and I walk away. That's it.
All right, and then let's say we can say that you guys kind of perform your tasks. There's nothing that would take away from the crew's morale on a second day. Is there anything else that you would want to do to pass the day?
Is there something I can do to try to improve crew morale?
Probably not, because
that's fine. I just wanted to...
it would have to be reacting to an event in some kind of way.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say, Gilfin? Looks like one of those barrels of rum could use a good going after.
Yeah, but Gilfin, you can decide how to spend your catch again, and Jackabo between you if you wanted to, have more potions produced in any way this day.
All right, yeah.
Well, you know what my theories on he's at the wheel of the ship. I like a nice drink while I'm driving, you know.
No better time to drink than I say.
All right, what am I gonna hit out here? Maybe Roberto's, but he keeps swimming in and out of there. I don't know if he's following us or just kind of hanging out.
He's quite squishy. He'll just like move out of the way. I'll help you go fishing if you want.
Well, I always thought about taking my daughters fishing. It'd be weird. I guess I could take you, pretend you're my son. I never had a boy.
It doesn't have to get that weird, mate. I mean, it's not like I haven't fished before.
Why you gotta make it weird?
You made it weird. You called me a son.
Jackabo is older than you.
What?
Elder Green
God damn
suddenly
it, this
appears.
guy. He just wanders around. Holy shit.
Fuck, scared the shit out of me. I didn't know you were standing there.
Put a bell around his neck.
Fuck.
I have a bell. He shakes a bell and it makes noise. But when he attaches it to his hip, it doesn't make any noise.
Was that your random item?
That's an item I have. Yeah.
Oh, anyway.
We were talking about going fishing, Elder Green. Have you ever been fishing?
Oh, yes. I'm not very good at it.
You don't have to be good at it. You just drink.
I prefer to just stab the fish.
Well, I mean, we could throw it on the deck. You can stab it then if that makes you happy.
Here you go. You can use this club. Give him a good whack on the head after he brings it up onto the boat.
I'd much rather know about why he named his blade what he named it.
Who,
Well,
Henry?
Yeah, Henry. I mean, there has to be a tale to go with that.
Well, I named it Henry because Jackabo told me that his crossbow had a name, and I thought that my weapon should have a name too.
But my weapon has a name. It's named after my ex-girlfriend, who's a total bitch. Why did you pick Henry?
Oh, I don't know. I just like the name Henry.
Oh. You never met some cunt named Henry before?
No, all the Henrys I've met have been very nice.
You know,
Not very scary name for a knife, mate.
Is it supposed to be scary? Cherry isn't very scary.
Well, you ain't met Cherry. It took me 8 months to get over the fucking HPV she gave me. You guys ever heard of that?
so this, the second day sort of passes as the first.
All right. All right.
Did you guys want to create any extra potions with your food supplies or anything like that, or were you gonna?
When the DM loses the crew, and they start
Yep.
talking about STDs.
Yep. Now, we might have to make that morale check here.
They were not on the
Elder
deck
Green.
for that. They were not on the deck. I want to make sure that the crew gets to eat meat because they're dwarfs. So they get the choice of meat before the berries. But we have to slide the berries in on half the crew. Maybe one day we'll do berries for half the crew and fish for the other half. The next day we'll flip-flop it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But
that sounds equitable. Yeah.
he would prefer to leave it to Cutti to decide when she can and can't make her potions because he doesn't understand anything about potion making and shit.
Sure. Yeah. She continues to believe that you have enough supply for the journey ahead.
He'll just keep
Okay.
fishing. I mean, at worst,
Yep.
he's having success where the other fishermen haven't, thanks to him being the main character of this story.
The third morning, you guys awaken and find that it's a bit foggier, but the water's still kind of calm, and the wind is still favorable, blowing down from the north. So you know that you're headed in the right direction. But now it looks like overnight you've kind of drifted into a part of the ocean that is choked with this disgusting, rotten smelling kelp, and the sea ghost kind of cuts its way through this sludgy drift, and it's just an unpleasant stink that kind of like is sticking to the prow of the ship as it kind of trudges through it at speed.
This fog is thick as peanut butter. Too bad it don't smell the same.
Elder Green is going to
soup.
take a deep inhale through his nose and just go, smells like home.
You mean pea soup?
No, you eat what you like. I eat what I like.
In the morning, you see that Cutti is on the forecastle, and she's kind of practicing through like kata forms, and gusts of wind and water are kind of pushing their way around the ship, and then and cleaning the sludge off the sides as it goes, seemingly on its own.
Elder Green, you think she's doing that?
I doubt it. I'm going to approach Cutti and say, "Wow, that's some fancy footwork. Do you mind teaching me?"
It is done with the breathing. And then she sort of inhales, and as she exhales, water sloshes up from the sea and washes some more of the disgusting black kelp off the front of the ship.
Oh, so that's you.
Yes, I can speak to the ocean and to the wind.
Wow, that's fascinating. Where'd you learn something like that?
Some of my people can do this.
Interesting.
How tall are you, Elder Green?
Elder Green is regular human height. He's like, I don't know, 5'8".
Okay, yeah, so she's like almost a full foot shorter.
And a full foot taller than me.
And she doesn't seem to be paying too much attention. She seems to be going through her forms and continuing her work.
Okay, well, Elder Green is going to stand about 15 feet away from her and just kind of mimic her movements.
All right, and you notice that as you do, the wind gust that she's generating and the area of water sort of doubles.
Oh, well, I wasn't even trying to do that. I was just trying to do some Tai Chi.
And she starts to sweat, and then starts to lose her footing, and then stumble.
Elder Green will step up and go, "Oh, careful there."
I'm not sure what came over me. I think I have been working too hard. I will return to the kitchen. It is easier work.
You gotta stay hydrated, or you'll get the cramps.
I am sure you are right, Captain.
Jackabo this whole time is just like standing there, just like watching her.
And kind of the fog kind of lifts as the sun climbs in the sky. And off in the distance, you guys can see a form of rock islands kind of thrusting their way up into view way off in the distance. And you know that the Coral Cove with the Crystal Cave is in this vicinity.
Land high!
But the sea around you continues to be choked with this just kind of disgusting foaming black sludge of seaweed and seagrasses uprooted, maybe as if from a storm, but they definitely appear to be sickly and blighted.
Shark, what do you know about this Crystal Cove?
Not much more than you do, Captain. There are legends that they say that the merfolk did dwell there, and that they fought against their masters. And there is tales of treasure there. I heard the tales myself.
It got to always be treasure at the end of that adventure. You know anything about all this sludge? Have you ever seen anything like it?
Never seen anything in all my days at sea, sir. But there have been many strange tales from out at sea lately. Could have something to do with the catch, sir, if my reckoning ain't wrong.
Yeah, makes me afraid to fish in this area. Water looks bad.
Aye, sir, it does. And you guys continue to sail towards the island. And you notice, actually, everybody go ahead and make a perception check.
Gilford just grabs his bottle, starts chugging it with his natural one.
All right, Jackabo, you notice in the distance that there are several forms, kind of silhouettes, humanoid silhouettes, huddled along the tops of these rocky islands, and you sort of also catch the glint of metal in the sunlight, and you believe that you're seeing spear-like weapons at a distance.
Hey mates, looks like there might be some people up on top of those rocks. If only I had a spyglass, but I never hit 1,000 gold to be able to buy one.
Coming out to greet us, that's great. Maybe they got supplies.
They got weapons, I'll tell you that. I can see the tips of their spears.
You sure those aren't glasses or tankards cheering us on?
No, there's a full foot above their heads, mate. Looks like sharp objects
Can raise
glinting in
a
the
drink.
sun. If they're glinting like that, that means it's a lot higher quality than those bone spears those lizard folk had.
And as the sea ghost sails closer, you can see that they seem to be tossing their spears into the water surrounding the rock island, but also kind of indiscriminately into the air. And there also seems to be one of them that's producing some sort of magical effects, some sort of visuals off in the distance there that indicate the use of magic.
Guilford, why would they be throwing the spears up in the air and trying to make big magical displays?
Because they're trapped on
Maybe.
the island. They're trying to
Yeah,
get our
maybe.
attention.
Maybe
Want us to
trying
save 'em.
Well, that's what I thought. Well, I'm glad we're sailing together because we think just alike.
Yeah, does the rum helps?
The rum does help.
Jackabo, you notice that golden parrot sort of wobbling in flight past the yard arm of the ship there. You can just kind of see it out of the corner of your eye, sailing towards that island in the distance.
That's my little buddy going towards the island there.
And that rotten dark water starts to churn more and more, a little bit as the ship approaches the island.
Keep her steady, Shark. Keep her steady.
Gets
Oi,
a bit
Captain.
chilly.
Holding her tight, sir, tight as we can. And you kind of notice that even though she was feeling dizzy earlier, that Cutti comes out of the cook and climbs to the top of the poop next to Shark and starts sort of working through her forms again and helping to fill the sails in such a way that it adds speed to the boat, but also some stability as they approach the waves.
Elder Green, can you make heads or tails of that magic going on that island?
Well, no.
All right.
Elder Green,
That's
you
it.
can roll like a religion check and determine sort of what you're seeing there.
Well, religion or arcana, because I have both.
Okay, which one's better?
They're both exactly the same.
All right, let's do Arcana then.
Critical fail.
All right, here, take this rum.
Yeah, you can't quite tell what you don't get any kind of feeling as you study the magical effects that you're visualizing that they trigger any kind of memory in your studies.
Yeah, he's gonna chug down the rum and just go, those aren't magics. That's just parlor tricks. They're just using confetti, probably.
You heard the man. Nothing to worry about here. Let's go.
And now that the creatures kind of come more in view, you notice that they share a lot of similarities to the devil creatures that have attacked you all in the past on board the Delgado. But these creatures kind of look more pathetic. Their skin is sagging. They kind of lack the size of their sharp teeth. Their mouths are sort of frownier and droopier. Their limbs are ganglier. Their weapons and tools appear much more primitive. And they have these big, pale yellow eyes that are squinted shut against the sun. And they're kind of launching these spears with these lines attached to them, and then retrieving them from the water. And they seem to be aiming their spears at that yellow bird of paradise as it flies towards the island.
Ha! Take that, bird.
They're trying to kill my little buddy. They're not trying to flag us down at all. We got to try and save him.
The ship the ship kind of picks up speed faster than its normal speed. It adds 5 movement points because of the efforts of
The wind
Cutti.
avatar up there. All right. I like her. She's cool. I'm trying to whistle for the bird.
Say pieces of 8 or something like that. You like that?
Pieces of 8.
Places of 8.
And you notice kind of that the bird kind of circles around, and you see that the message is tied to its foot. Jackabo, your insight has kind of clued you into that as well.
Okay. Come here, birdie. Come here, birdie. You don't want to go that way.
It kind
I'll
of
hit him,
circles.
Elder Green says, and he conjures up a flame in his hand.
No, don't do that.
Oh. He just puts it away.
Yeah.
The bird sort of dips out of the sky and then kind of plunges into the water.
Oh,
I got him.
how far away? How far away?
It appears to be 300 feet away.
That's too much for me to swim. Bring her a ship around. Let's see if we can see the little fella.
You notice that some of the spears from the tribal fishmen are landing off the bow of the ship as you approach the rocks.
Cutti.
And some of them are making they're falling way short. They're pathetically short. It's almost as
Right.
if they can't see you all well enough.
Cutti,
Someone get me a fishnet. Get me a fishnet.
Cutti, we're under attack. Shark, get the crew ready, just in case. Right now, we're not taking any damage, but we want to be prepared.
All right, the crew start getting into position, and a couple of dwarves man the ballista and the mangonel on the ship. Everybody starts climbing into place and becomes sort of a hive of activity.
Hold fire until my command.
Aye, Captain.
I'm gonna get a fishnet and try and prepare to try and snatch the bird out of the water.
Okay. Yeah, you're sort of coming up, 50 feet every 10 seconds or so. In about a minute, you'll be at where you saw the bird fall into the water, and in about 5 minutes, you'll be at the close enough to be in range of those spears as they kind of fall towards the boat.
Okay.
And then just as your net is 10 seconds away from scooping where that bird fell, a giant form bursts from the ocean, and a massive bronze dragon appears from beneath the waves and starts circling those islands.
Elder Green's eyes grow wide and he goes, magnificent.
That's some good rum, right?
And you notice the dragon is just as sickly looking as the bird was, and it still has the note tied to one of its paws.
Too right, mate. What in the world is happening here?
Its scales seem to be missing, and its skin underneath is exposed and blackened in a similar way that the seaweed is blackened that you guys have been kind of sludging through.
I reluctantly pull a cracker out of my pouch and hold it up in the air, shaking with hand of fear towards him.
Kind of as you hold the cracker into the sky, the dragon inhales a breath and unleashes an arc of lightning at the islands, and that's where we'll end our adventure tonight.